All right, guys, welcome back to the new episode of the General Mission podcast. I'm joined by, as always, Seb, Joe, and Arch. And round 10,
Let's
magic
go.
round. We had a lot of great games here.
It was truly magical.
It was truly
From the
magical.
NRL.
And there were some great moments.
How many
And-
times has that been said this weekend so far?
Yeah.
And we started off with a great game. The first game of Friday, the Raiders versus the Bulldogs. And I think, obviously, a great win for Raiders. This was their fifth win in
I
a
think
row.
it's four.
Four, not bunnies.
I think it's five.
That's
No,
not.
because we had a
Four.
bye.
Four.
Yeah, that's right, four.
Um,
I think, again, Raiders letting the opponents back into the game.
Yeah.
And look, they got the job done. They won the game, but it's just a part of their game that they need to tidy up.
I mean, they were robbed by a crazy knock-on call
Off Jack
that was
Wineshead.
clearly a beautiful Falcon header forward for himself, but
Highlander.
that probably put them in under a little bit more pressure than what it should have been. But I think the point still stands.
You just can't be conceding 30 points to the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
realistically.
I like the Raiders a lot. I've expressed that on the podcast before, but when I was watching that first half, I found the way that they let the Bulldogs back into the game was a bit pathetic. I mean, it was a good win, but I just you can't be up
22-6 or up, yeah.
and then let them make it a game. In my opinion, it's just
Yeah, they've just done it too many times this year. And look, again, they're winning the games, but if they can, so Joe, as a Raiders fan, you've been very critical of them this year. You haven't had much faith in them.
Yeah.
But I think that if they can tidy that up, look, I've backed the Raiders this year. I've tipped them most weeks, and they've been winning a lot of games. So, what were your thoughts on
Look,
the team's performance?
We've just got a really strong forward pack. Like, there's a couple forwards in there that always would be, if they're eligible, always vying for contention. We've got a really strong forward pack, so just use that more. Like, when we throw offloads, we play through the middle, we score points, and we win games. It's just as simple as that.
Do you think Jared Croker's position in the squad remains safe, considering this run of wins has coincided with his re-entry into the squad?
Yes, for now. Until I want to move Chris out of fullback and put Savage back there, Croker's safe for now.
Did you guys see that that forward pass? It was ruled a forward pass, but it wasn't. Did you see it? Okay, so it was just a really shocking call where I can't remember who threw it, but threw it to Rapana, and the touchy caught it forward.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, and there was a funny moment where it was a blatant non-forward pass. It was just blatantly back, and there was a funny moment when Rapana he looked up the replay, and then he pointed to the replay, and then looked at the touchy and just shook his head, and the touchy, there's a little grin out of the touchy, but I thought that was a funny moment.
Funny.
But yeah,
Rapana is funny.
but yeah. We'll move on to the Broncos versus Manly. This is as expected, Broncos 32-6 versus Manly, an expected one-sided game.
Maybe not. Well, definitely not.
I took Manly, so
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah.
At
well,
the start of the year, at least on
yeah.
paper, knowing now what the Broncos are capable of, but when you consider coming off last week, they've got some cracks, and Manly are a good side on paper.
At times.
And
On
Garrick
paper,
back to the wing.
I just don't think they don't perform well against big teams. That's the problem. It's been a problem for years, right? I just don't think they live up to the limelight. They don't perform. when
Archer's
they're playing
always
quality.
been very critical
but
of
if-
Manly.
But I'm very critical of them when they play good teams because they don't perform well when they play good teams. That's the thing. They've got good players and stuff, but when they play good teams, they play.
That is a very
awful.
fair criticism, considering your bias. That you've actually worded it quite well there.
without mentioning 2021.
Yeah.
And I can mention it.
No, because you mentioned it like on the first podcast.
But
You
what's
went
it-
on a
what's
rant
it
about
called?
it.
But I think that's their problem. And until they can get over that hump, they've got no chance of going anywhere in the finals. They've got no chance of even getting to the finals. If you can't beat big teams or decent teams, because there's a lot of good and decent teams this season, then you've got no chance of winning this comp. And that's why I would never back Manly against a top 8 team. Never.
Oh,
Fair.
there you go.
Especially this season.
And do we think the Broncos last week was a glitch,
I think that was a glitch. That was a glitch. The first half, they were 20-0 up. Manly did nothing in that first half. Then at the start of the second half, Manly slowly started to ease their way back into the game, but it was just all Broncos until that late try when the two Turbo brothers, the two Trebojevic brothers linked up for that late try. Apart from that, I didn't see.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I was like, Jake was out, but yes,
Yeah,
Ben scored.
Ben scored. Yeah. But it was all Broncos. They just looked excellent.
Yeah.
And you can say Manly aren't even that bad of a side. I just think that was a great performance for Broncos. And in regards to what you said, Seb, I think that was a glitch from the Broncos last week.
You can say a lot of teams aren't that bad of a side this season. Like, there's a lot of decent teams in the comp. There's no one with there's a couple of teams that have awful teams. But
I just don't want to discredit Manly. I don't want to discredit Broncos win by just saying it was just easy.
Last week the
Archer does want to discredit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call Manly the low hanging fruit. We're not going to.
I'm just saying that I don't think it's a glitch last week. They played the most informed team in the comp, coming off the back of a Panthers win and a Dolphins win. And they were firing on all cylinders, and they just weren't ready for it. I don't think if they had the full healthy squad, still think they lose that game by 12 to 18 points. The Broncos against Bunnies come finals time might be different, but I think I think if we replayed that game 5 times, I think we'd win 4 or 5 times against the Broncos. So good win for them though this week, good bounce back win, but I don't think that was a glitch, you could say.
Fair enough. But let's move on to the next game of Veggie Round. This is the first game of Saturday, and the Penrith beat Warriors 18-6. Warriors they took the early lead, but I think that Penrith they've been a bit shaky, coming off back-to-back losses, and as we said on the last podcast, we're like, surely. I think we all tipped Penrith, did we?
Yeah, we all tipped Penrith.
And I think we tipped Penrith on the basis of surely they can't win 3 in a row, lose 3 in a row. And they came out and they got the job done. They went up 14-6 and then just controlled the game for me. I thought they didn't look like, when they went up, they didn't look in doubt at all, whatever. And I thought
their attack just looks super clunky at the minute. I don't know what it is specifically.
It's something going on.
I think we're slowly seeing Luai's impact on the squad's attack. No,
he didn't have that bad of a game.
I thought he played awfully.
I don't think it was any worse than what he has been all year though.
No, but seriously, you look at the 2021 team and the 2020 Panthers team. He was a lot better, and their attack was a lot better. But now last year had a slump year, and this year's I think he's been a bit worse than last year, and I think that's really affecting the Panthers' attack, especially from the loss of Api Coruscant, which is a crucial piece for the Panthers. But I think that if Luai can't pick up his form come finals time, I think there's 2 or 3 teams that will roll straight over the top of Penrith.
Penrith's defence isn't the problem.
No.
Their defence is brilliant. Is just the way, because Warriors had a few chances there, but again, Warriors, they had 2 sin bins, one after the other. It was just too hard for them to even do anything. But still, I think Penrith, their defence is good. They've got, because Ivan Cleary, just the way they shift numbers and hold the goal line, it's really hard to break them. But to something in attack, maybe is it the halves? I think, I'm not sure. When I watch them play, there's something I can't put a finger on them, because I feel like the outside backs are doing their job. I don't know. Maybe it's just, is it Luai, as Archer said? Is it Luai?
Definitely.
It Luai and Cleary's like combination? Is it? I don't think it's. I think Dylan Edwards is playing well.
Yeah,
he's having a good game. For me, he's having one of his better starts to a year.
Yeah, no, I get
he's
had
a terrific. He's best. Probably
as a solo player.
Statistically solo, and even To'o solo, on an individual level, To'o is putting up his numbers.
He's regressed slightly.
He's regressed,
he's still good.
Yeah, still like impressive numbers.
You think about To'o on 2019.
I think he led the match in run meters. I think.
Yeah, that's very likely.
So he's always putting up those run meters.
That's just a
I-
weak for Dyer. That's
Yeah.
what he does.
But then I guess he's set the bar very high for himself.
I think at the end of the day, like it's a pretty easy answer to there's a combination of things. It's 3 things why the Penrith Panthers aren't as good as an attack, and it's because they lost Coruscant, who's very good hooker, very experienced. They lost, Luai's having a slump year, and I think every other team's gotten a lot better. There's a lot of good to decent teams. I've said it a couple times before, but the competition this year is more than we've seen in the past 10 years.
Well, just in regards to Dylan Edwards, he scored a try. He led the game in tackle breaks, line breaks, and behind To'o had the second most meters. So I think Penrith's attack is they're relying on Dylan Edwards because usually they just, it was usually like a Luai Cleary.
Yeah, they didn't really have to rely.
They didn't have. Now they just
wherever
relying,
they went.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
some-
They
There's
had
multiple weapons.
Crichton and To'o. Now I think we're just seeing more Dylan Edwards shows.
But
We're still very early into the season and they're still winning.
We keep
games.
saying that.
We keep saying that. We keep saying that. We're at round
halfway,
10. We're
you
coming
know.
up to halfway.
3
but
more
I still
rounds
think
for halfway.
come finals time, best believe Penrith are.
Well, they'll be there. Yeah.
They'll be there.
Maybe not. Grand
Maybe
final,
not
but
like grand
they'll
final.
They'll make a good.
Best believe they're still a shot at winning it.
Yeah.
They're still
No.
Penrith Panthers. They can get the job done because
Because
they've
they've done it before. They're winners.
They're winners. They've won back-to-back years. They might not be the best team over 26 rounds, but like the Rabbitohs, and we'll get to the Rabbitohs, but I think, we'll get to what I was about to say with the Rabbitohs, but Penrith, they might not be the best over 26 rounds. They can, quarters, semis, preliminaries, grand. It's 4 games.
Yeah.
4 big games where
Mhm.
they know what to do.
Yeah.
well, not even. They could make top 4 still. So
Well, even that, yeah. Well,
3 wins.
yeah.
We'll move on to the Sharks first, the Dolphins. Now, walking
Battle
into
of the
this game,
fish.
battle of the fish. You're right. And
Dolphins aren't a fish, are they? It's just funny to
Battle
call
of
it.
sea.
battle of
Just
the
funny to
sea
call them.
creatures. Well,
Yeah.
usually,
There's
if a
eels
shark
as
and a
well.
dolphin got into like a fight, you'd expect a shark to eat
No.
the dolphin.
The Dolphins win. Dolphins beat
Okay,
a shark.
okay. If a shark and a dolphin, I want to ask you two. If a shark
A
and a
shark
dolphin,
will win. I
a
don't know.
shark would just. What is a dolphin gonna do?
Search it up. It's the electromagnetic waves it can send.
He did used to want to be a marine
Yeah,
biologist back in kindergarten.
dolphins.
And he did that
so
presentation on sharks.
dolphins, right? They send electromagnetic waves which distort the shark and then
Well,
makes
you know
them
what?
go straight away.
You know
'cause
what?
they're
I
confused
think
and they can't see
that's
anything.
exactly.
We saw some of those
I think that's
electromagnetic
exactly
waves.
what we saw Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because Saturday night, the Dolphins in the first half an hour sent electromagnetic waves. They were 30-0 up
Yeah.
after half an hour. And walking into this game, I had Sharks as potential grand finalists. Now this is
You don't
potential-
anymore?
I feel like I'm just
Who is it?
dumbfounded. I'm just lost. I'm just like, what is this season?
Sharks.
One
bunnies.
week I think
We beat.
I thought it was Sharks Bunnies. 1 week I think it's going to be Broncos. They get pumped by the Rabbits. And then they bounce back. It's just such a topsy-turvy year.
Yeah,
Just-
you can't count anyone out.
do you
just
know what I
because-
mean? There's no... What we said before the podcast, we said, is there any outright team in the Bunnies?
Yeah.
But even just the Sharks and the Broncos, who were meant to be Penrith, Storm, who 1 week
Yeah.
look
But it's just
great.
exciting. It's just good. It's
I-
good
I
for
like-
the
this is-
game.
Yeah, it's
I say
so,
this-
it's so
I say
We've
this
had
good for the
too
game.
many years where there's been the top 2
It's been
and
like-
they've run away.
There's
and
been
then-
an interesting
Melbourne
year.
or
Yeah.
Roosters, Panthers, and
It's a
Melbourne.
tipster's
those
nightmare.
type of
it's a
years.
tipster's nightmare
Yeah.
because you've got so many
as we all
underdog
know.
teams where you
after
got
this
God,
week.
Joe's had a nightmare.
You have like the Titans and the Warriors, which can pinch a win against
Yeah.
a top
The
side as well.
Dolphins.
You know, the Dolphins,
the Dolphins,
as we
look
saw
good.
here. So Wayne Bennett's 900th game as a coach.
They pulled it for
They-
him.
yeah,
I think
they did it for
I
him.
do believe that would have made a difference because, look, as a non-rugby league player, I've never truly understood the greatness of Wayne Bennett. But when you look at every single player who's played under him, they all say best coach ever.
Yeah, they all love
They
it.
all love him. So something he's doing behind closed doors puts these players to another level, and I think they would have, even if they've only been coached by him for
Was,
a few months,
was
they clearly pulled it out for him.
was Finn Diesel playing?
Is that
Finn
Kaufusi?
Diesel.
Kaufusi.
He was.
Is that what
playing.
they call him?
Yeah, I'm happy. That
Oh, now he's bold.
He's a great
yeah.
player. Great player.
I thought,
Well,
I thought that was gonna be a Fast and Furious thing.
Yeah.
Saying Dolphins are family or something.
No. It's Vin Diesel. I heard. I just want to say it on the podcast. Too good not to say.
Debuting Valence Tavare.
You
Scored a double. And
I-
he looked good.
He's
Big
a
boy.
He looked
boy.
good.
No,
No, you know, Joe and I were watching it, and I said he's got a rugby union build.
Yeah.
And my mum actually made me
Yeah.
aware that
He's
he
a-
played rugby union
Yeah.
until last year.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
year was his first year of league.
so a lot of players. So, but
Defensively, he struggled a bit.
But
But
I'll
in attack, he was
I'll
phenomenal.
tell you what. I'm so annoyed that we didn't have a podcast from round one because I would have mentioned it, but I think it was bloke on a bar or something. I was watching one of those episodes, and they actually pinpointed him out and said when he breaks into that Dolphins team, he will have an impact. Like in the lower division that they're playing in, I can't remember the name off by heart, but like if you look up his stats last year for the Dolphins, they're phenomenal. He's legit. He's got the strength of Latrell, but he's like very, very quick. I'd say he's probably quicker, like when he gets to full acceleration. And he's very snappy with his movements. I definitely think if Dolphins keep utilising him, he keeps his confidence up, I definitely think he can have a long future in the game and for that team and be a very big impact. I was very impressed by him on his debut, but no, very, very happy for him. He's in my Supercoach team as well. Didn't play unfortunately, but no, it's very, very good thing for the Dolphins. Squad depth as well.
Well, let's just move on to the Storm vs Rabbitohs game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have a lot to say about this.
I do, you know.
Rabbitohs win
You-
28-12, and it was the Rabbitohs show throughout the whole game.
Well, I had to listen to that. I can't remember. I'm not going to say anything like mean, but like there's whoever was commentating on the game. Every time they're like, "This is so strange because the Storm have owned them since they've come into league." It was annoying me so much. But I figured out. I'm pretty sure we've only beat them like 6 times in the past like 10 years or something.
Oh,
like
to be
that.
fair, most teams will have that
Yeah,
record against
like-
them. So
It's outrageous. So to see us absolutely humble Melbourne, right? I feel like there was a good stat from the game. In the first half, they had like 28 tackles in our 20, and we had 12, and it was 12-6. That just shows how much our defense has improved, in my opinion.
And
one-
your efficiency on the line.
yeah, and what I was talking about is, so I mentioned a couple podcasts ago how the left's edge last year was the reason why we were able to win games in the past few years, right? And recently at the start of our winning streak, we switched to the right edge and started prioritising that, and that's why Campbell Graham has all the tries. And I think what is making us so deadly now is you see Melbourne are prepared for the right edge.
Yeah.
It wasn't going on the right edge, so we switched it. Tass got a try. AJ got 2.
Both of your flanks are.
They're unbelievable now, and oh my god, some of those Latrell short kicks next to the line, phenomenal.
He's in
He just
great
looks like
form.
he's having so much fun.
He's in great form,
that's the
and
thing.
we
He's more involved,
were saying
like-
at the start of the season how we were all saying just the NRO in general, just the fans were very critical of Latrell. He started the season very slow.
Yeah.
Very critical of his defense, of his laziness. I saw in the game against the Roosters, I think it was, where I just saw like every time he got the ball, it was just like jogging and I didn't see much hunger in Latrell, and I think once the Rabbits just started getting rolling, he's just like he's just loving it. He's just he wants it. You know what I mean? We've just seen a different Latrell the past few weeks ever since Rabbitohs started this 5-game
win streak against a lot of good teams. 4 of them were top 8 sides. It was Dolphins, Broncos, Storm, and Panthers. 4 very impressive wins. Bulldogs got packed up as well. But also an honourable mention, I think it doesn't get talked about enough. I think Vossi was saying it. The Rabbitohs forward pack, some of the squad depth that we have now that everyone's back, is incredible. I look at that forward pack and they're dominating games. Keon's not even on the field. You know what I mean? Havili's not even playing. There's so many solid players that we can slot in to give other players a rest. David Mawali wasn't even in the squad, and he's a solid player. I know he's young, but he's a solid player as well. And one more thing for the Bunnies game. Cody Walker's season is being underrated completely.
It's
I
not,
think-
but that is a awful take. Who on earth is underrating?
I
this
think
season?
it's not speak.
His logic about being underrated is that he's not in contention for the Blues jersey.
I think he should be in that conversation.
Everyone.
But listen,
Okay,
listen.
that's a different argument.
7
He-
tries
no.
and 12
That's a
tries.
different argument.
Name a player that's doing that. Name a player that's doing that in the comp
I
right now.
can't because he's
Because
not
he's-
underrated. No one is underrating him.
No.
He's getting
But
the credit he
name a
deserves.
player on that level this season, but putting up those
There
numbers.
isn't one.
He won't play
Exactly.
Origin.
So that
There isn't one, but Origin contention is like whoever plays in getting picked for Origin.
Regardless, guys,
is a
this
different argument.
this is for hot takes. This is not.
Yeah, we'll
this is
move
not
on.
the weekly wrap up.
Yeah, but
yeah.
anyways, you
Best
know what?
5/8 in the
Yeah.
comp this season. So,
Well, with that being said, let's move on to the first game of Sunday, where the Tigers went back to back. So
Woo, scary,
18-16 win
80
against the
minutes.
Dragons. So 7-I, the Tigers fans. For me, I think the Tigers, they made it harder than it should have been. I think that.
Can you name a game where that hasn't been the case?
Yeah, well, like.
It's just
Well,
the
no, I'm
Tigers.
saying we've only won 2, but like last
No,
week.
I mean in the
last
last
week,
5 years,
like
have we
last
ever
week,
made a
yeah.
game easy?
you can say that for both sides though, because St George had a
Yeah,
chance to win
Dragons-
it and Sully blew it. He should have passed it. The Dragons with
Well,
the
that
game.
was
They were
one.
up
That
as
was
well.
one brain fart, but I guess you
Yeah.
could like.
You can make an argument for both, but
I would argue
We-
the
I think-
Dragons shouldn't have been that close. We were very unlucky
What
to
cost-
miss that
yeah.
try.
What cost
Yeah.
Dragons this game is their discipline. The amount of penalties they gave away, even like both teams had a few drop balls here or there, but the Dragons, especially in the first half,
Stupid penalty.
just giving away very
yeah.
just like
Oh,
just
and when we
unforced
had
penalties,
nothing on,
unforced
the
penalties, yeah.
third or fourth tackle,
Exactly.
we're 20 meters in, and they're
You
and
know,
then
and
letting
we're
us
struggling to get
have a
out
free
and
ride out.
just six again or penalty, you know, and I think that, you know, the Tigers most like I can't name a player who played badly today. I was just like, but not
No.
even that. Like every single player in our team, I can give a huge rap for,
Wakeham
except for
had
maybe
a good
about
game.
3. Wakeham,
He's
you know, he hit the 40-20. Then he did not find touch, which is
Yeah, that was crazy.
an underrated error. I still don't understand how people fail to find touch because when you get greedy and you go for the far one, just.
I mean, he criticises Brooks week in, week out for not going far enough.
I
Find a
think-
happy
I
medium.
think for me, with finding touch, just 20, 30 meters, that's it.
Yeah, Brooks gets
that's
like
it.
15 sometimes. though.
Yeah, oh yeah, so, yeah.
I will say, most disappointing player in very big flaw for the Dragons is Tyrell Sloan's footy IQ. I was watching him.
He has terrible footy IQ. to be
His
fair.
footy IQ is atrocious,
Negative ball knowledge.
and he's a good player. You can see he's a decent player, but he's a decent fullback. But oh God, what is he doing? So he picks the ball up out of the goal line. He doesn't run out. He runs back in the goal line at half time, right? He runs all the way around on his own 5 meter line. He tries to
On the last play,
grubber,
yeah.
and if he does that wrong, it bounces off a Tigers player. It's a try.
Well, I'm
Like,
sure
what has he got?
regardless,
And there's multiple knock
Regardless,
and
Hook,
everything.
Hook would have killed him at halftime.
Yeah.
Griffin would have laid into him.
That
for trying.
I
Another great game by Buller as well.
Yeah.
He's just it's like, and he hasn't even gotten started yet. He hasn't even scored a try yet. You know what I mean?
No,
he hasn't
no.
even.
Two
Two or
tries,
three
that's
tries.
But he just looks the way he takes it. His defense as well. His
And it
defense.
seems
For
like
such a
the-
young kid on his third game,
Yeah, he had the try
he
save over
defends.
Ravalawa.
The
Yeah.
tries over
Two.
Ravalawa.
Who,
He defends like a veteran fullback. He defends like a Tedesco. you
But
know what I
most
mean? Like a
importantly,
veteran fullback.
his teammates seem to really back him and really
Yeah.
trust him because that's super important
Mm.
yeah.
for a fullback,
For a
and
young kid.
specifically a
Just
young
even for
kid.
a young kid, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why Staines has been playing well at fullback because I think that they've just been backing him. Like Staines walking.
He only
Like,
played
I
2
never
games
really.
fullback, but
Or if well, I
liked
think
him
he
at
had 2
fullback.
Me
games.
too,
I think he had 2 games, but Buller's played 3. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's the same point I'm making. I think that the Tigers, what I've I said before, we haven't played bad this year except for the Broncos game. Like we
just played Tigers.
we played bad. Sorry, yeah, we played bad against the Titans in the first game, but every game we've been in
And the
it to the
Knights.
last minute, and the Knights. But
we haven't
you know, like,
deserved to. We should have won a few more games.
it's harsh to look at the ladder and put the
But
Tigers.
honestly,
at last,
you definitely
know
can
what I
say
mean?
the same thing about the Dragons.
Well, yeah.
What?
They've been just as close.
I think Dragons, they were just trying.
But their seasons.
For me, if I'm going to summarize this game, I think it was Dragons trying to lose and Tigers, we'll just win by 2. You know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe I got from this game. Apart from Jaden Sullivan's moments of magic where he just came off the bench and turned into freaking, Damien Cook just those 2 absolutely brilliant tries that he scored. Solo tries. But then he put out that 20-meter dropout, or 20-meter restart. But I think if it wasn't for his solo efforts, Dragons had very little to offer in attack. And I think that just Tigers, I'm proud of the win, but, one more thing I want to touch on, is, again, I was speaking to Seb before about, I always had a feeling this is the case, but then I heard that at halftime, it was actually confirmed, Sheens, because I've been watching, it seemed like it all year, Sheens tells them, you don't have to kick on last every play, just die with the ball sometimes on last. And I've noticed that all year where we'll get to last play and then just not even try and not through the hands, just dummy half, Brooks will just short ball for Talau and Talau just die in the corner just so they can reset and keep them there. I hate it. I hate that tactic. I hate the idea of last tackle. You know what? Let's tactically
It's
just
really
prepare.
passive.
It's really passive. It's really passive and negative. It's pessimistic.
Well,
Because you're not trying to score a try.
We're not going to score a try. We're too scared that we'll give away.
Let's just put it in the corner
touchdown.
and just defend. It's tactical. It's the long-term strategy.
That's
so pessimistic. It's pessimistic football. We don't think we'll score here. We don't back our kickers to put in a good kick. When we did put in grubbers, we forced restarts and we forced the ball
Yeah,
back.
we actually didn't have a bad grubber.
We didn't have a bad kick.
We had one.
Anyways, I just thought that was a great game for the Tigers, but
I just want to add one more thing. You've got a brilliant player that I think has gone to the shadows now, by the name of Dane Laurie. Where does is he out?
Yeah,
I think he's out. I think he's out because also, unless Buller gets injured and he has to go there, but besides injuries, Staines comes back, Staines goes to wing, Buller gets injured, Staines takes his spot.
Yeah.
Laurie in the club is...
You can't drop Nothera though. Staines is out for a few more weeks at least, right? Didn't they say 8?
Oh, it's 8 to 12.
Yeah, so he's out for a while.
But I'm saying
Laurie has
fit
no way.
side, Laurie is third choice, possibly fourth choice with Dewey. I know Dewey tore his ACL, but I'm saying in terms of favour, if everyone's fit, they would prefer. Anyways, we've spoken about this game enough, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm just very passionate about this win. I think it was a great win, and onto the Bunnies next week. It'll be a tough game, but let's move on to the Cowboys versus the Roosters. 20-6 to the Cowboys. Roosters, what on earth happened? Appalling.
That is if I'm a Roosters fan, if that was my team, right, I'd be disturbed. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night thinking that my players put in that type of performance. That was abysmal against a team of the caliber of the Cowboys. Roosters, I think they should have 2 wins in the season. Honestly, they have played shocking football this year. They played appalling, and they
haven't looked confident in many of their wins.
I have no idea how on earth they are sitting in 7th or 8th, or wherever they are, but they're around the top 8, or they are in the top 8. I have no clue how they're there. I think it's a complete disaster class of a season, even though they have got the points, right? Unless they can turn around, because this football that they're playing is not going to hold up later on. It's not going to hold up, right? I think it needs to just scrap everything and reset how you're structuring the game.
I think we saw a Cowboys from last year as well.
They really wanted it.
They really
did.
It was because look, with rugby league, it's always a game of two sides. You've got one side played bad, one side play good. So I think
I absolutely agree that
there,
it's not all down to this disaster class. The Cowboys played well.
It was a pretty
gutsy
performance.
To say it's the Cowboys of last year
in this game, I'm saying I think the Cowboys. I think this
Val Holmes was doing a lot of nothing.
Yeah. Ruben Cotter is the only one they
You
Ruben
reckon?
Cotter
Huge
and
work. And
who
Bro-
sits inside of Cotter? Outside of Cotter?
Oh, fuck, man.
Oh, he
Oh,
was the man of the match.
It's not Nanai.
No.
the other
No,
one?
they are. Oh, good.
Gajewski, is
Yeah,
it?
that's the one.
Gajewski, yeah.
I can't pronounce his name.
But yeah, I think that look, it's still just a blip win from Cowboys. I don't think that they're
Turning
gonna be.
anything
I
around,
don't think
no.
I don't think it's I don't think we'll see the Cowboys of last year for the rest of the season. I just thought this game was like we saw Cowboys, dominating their
They're
opponents.
trying to get picked for Origin.
So well, that might be part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took advantage of a weak Roosters side. But
Yeah.
there's not much else to say about this game. It was just a one-sided contest.
Shocking team.
They play, just the amount of errors they made, so many silly.
Yeah,
errors.
that was
They-
what
they
killed
the
it.
errors.
You can
count.
say that the weather.
Unforced errors.
You know, I said I'm picking the underdogs this week, last podcast, and they fucking lost. I should have just picked the favourite, the Cowboys, because the Roosters,
What are you
I'm-
talking
I'm-
about?
Cowboys were not favourites.
they should have been. They're just like, they're
What is it?
Hindsight favourites. Anyway,
they're
Hindsight favourites. That's a
you're a
term
hater.
for
You're a
tonight.
hater.
crap
You're a
team.
hater.
They're
You're a
crap
hater.
team.
Let's move on to the final game of Magic Round, and they did
The fourth
Yeah.
Queensland side.
Titans
To
versus
win?
Eels. All four Queensland
Yeah.
They
sides.
put on a
win.
show.
They put on a show to wrap up Magic Round.
What a
26-24, the Titans win. Archer was the only one here to.
Kieran
the
Foran
Titans.
goes big early and then disappears.
Yeah,
Yeah, two
Poor
tries.
guy. He was that tired. Did
The
you guys
old-
see him?
the old bones don't move like they used to.
No.
I think that's what. But he
The
did
Titans looked good.
score 2 early tries. Yeah,
Parramatta.
Eels had a very
Shocking.
quiet first half before they kind of tried to spark a late comeback. But I
Goal
think
kicking took them out of it.
Mm,
Even like,
Most
even if it's
shocking
just that
performance.
mental, you look up at the scoreboard and you're sitting back 8, might have stuffed them up because I mean Parramatta are a very emotional side.
Yeah.
I think they used their proper good attacking chances pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the
They-
day,
they-
it's just Titans dominated the field position, and when they were down their other end, they're making a line break. They're making David Fafita's storming 20 meters and offloading. Like,
yeah, they're full.
It
No,
just-
no one stopped David Fee at the season
Yeah.
in Eels defence.
yeah.
Yeah, well, the Titans forward pack combined with how electric their outside backs are is just a bit. What do you mean?
Are you doing it like Tino and Fafita?
Yeah, their forward pack is dominant. It's a dominant.
Fodawaker was an Origin couple.
Yeah, it's.
I know. I just found it funny that he said electric.
Outside backs, yeah.
outside
Pereira.
backs.
Con Ferreira,
He had a good
Sammy,
game, to be
Kelly.
fair.
Yeah.
I just don't rate the Titans.
I think
No.
I think for in
Scored
terms
2
of
tries.
attacking, it's
It just sounded like you were describing like
no, that's
the
what
Broncos or something.
No, I think that it creates a perfect storm to get points.
I will
and
say
get up
though,
the field.
Titans have continued to prove me wrong this year. I keep
Yeah,
tipping
they're-
against
they're
them.
They
definitely
leak
nervous.
points.
They've continued to prove that they have pretty shoddy defense though.
Yeah.
They leak so.
They
many
just
points.
leak.
Like the
Like,
game they won against Melbourne, 38-36, like at the start of the season.
until they can seal that up, you can't be
Yeah.
relying on an AKP and Decept and
Like
David Fafita just
Well,
loading
That's
everyone.
not
look,
going to
they're
work
relying-
against the top.
That's
four
what I
teams.
mean.
but look,
why are you
against-
conceding that many
against
points?
the Eels, who, on the ladder might
Yeah,
not seem it,
they're
but the Eels are
first
still a
names.
good team.
I'm just gonna say
I think they should be proud of this win.
well-
I think it's ignore the performance. Just you beat the Eels,
Sure.
take it and leave it.
sure.
The honourable mention for today, I thought D Bags was really good at attack.
D-backs.
He was.
He was very. He was the only. I mean, there was some other
Bit of X
decent
factor.
perform- Bit of X factor, yeah. Unlike someone. Won't name names. Won't name names.
Well, you know what? I guess we'll wrap up
Mhm.
our round 10 review. I was about to say preview. Our round 10 review, and let's move on to Seb 6 again.
All right, so for this week's Seb 6 again, we're going to return to our roots. 6 questions, looking back at the week that was. So I'll give you the first one. You boys ready? You got your buzzers? We'll go with our team names. Trollmit, Tigers, Raiders. All right. So after this week, Payne Haas sitting pretty on top of the Dally M leaderboards. How many current NRL players have won a Dally M?
Drummet.
It's just a guessing game.
No, it's not really.
It is.
5.
Correct.
It's a guessing game.
It's not a guessing
No,
game.
guessing
You can
game.
look back.
All right,
For,
name
like,
them.
Hines,
Can you name them?
Hines,
Totola. Tedesco.
Did you say Totola?
Oh, sorry, not Totola. Tamalolo. Then.
It's a guessing game.
It's not. Taumalolo,
Hines.
Trebojevic, Hines, Tedesco,
Yeah. I guarantee you didn't work that on his head.
Whiten.
I'd say
I
Hines.
had 3 of them.
He was not getting white.
I-
He was not getting
I-
white.
He
I-
said when.
I said
said
White.
White.
Yeah,
Alright.
there's 5.
I won't.
Archer gets a point. So, the Broncos game. Billy Walters scored a try with his father at the helm of his team. Can you name 3 sets of father and son duos who both played in the league?
Tigers. So you got the Clearys.
Yep.
You've got.
That's the only one I knew.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you need like...
Pierces.
Correct.
Oh, just any father.
Wayne,
son.
yeah,
Oh.
but they don't have to be coaches.
Oh, okay.
Wayne
and the
Pierce.
Fultons.
Oh.
And the Fultons. And the Fultons.
Yeah.
Bob and Liam Fulton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say...
I
I thought it was
thinking-
coach.
see?
coach
No.
Yeah,
you-
see, I've got-
made
got-
it, I know it was going to be confusing, but I made the wording very clear. 2 father and son duos who both played in the league.
Oh yeah, the full team. I've got good ball knowledge. I prefer this side. I don't
Honourable
like the
mention,
5
you also
second
could
one.
have done the Hopewades.
Yeah.
Or
But the Fultons, the
Johns,
The Eels...
Matty
the
Johns.
Johns.
Isn't the Eels coach... doesn't
What,
he?
Matty?
Brad
Oh,
Arthur.
Brad
Yeah.
Arthur.
He has this, yeah, you're actually
His
Jacob
son,
Arthur.
who is awful.
So you
yeah.
could have actually had a few
Ted.
coaching.
He's awful.
He's only in the, he's a paid driver.
He'll play next week though.
All right.
Play on.
So yeah, Magic Round this week
Mm-hmm.
saw record-breaking ticket sales.
Ooh.
Can you tell me when it was first held?
Show me it. 2019.
Correct. Well done.
Fair enough.
Archer goes up to 2 points.
Calm and composed.
Alright.
Calm and composed.
So we were talking a bit about the ladder before the podcast.
Yep.
I think we'd all agree that it's returning to its traditional form. The top sides are getting back to where they normally are.
I still slightly disagree with that, but go on.
Regardless, it's
a
just
question.
a setup for a question.
Yeah.
It's
Go on.
just waffle. Can
Yeah.
you tell me the 3 current teams with the worst win rates
Show
of
me.
all time? Yeah. All 3.
Titans.
You're gonna get all. You can guess all 3, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Okay. Titans. Does it count before the merger?
No,
No.
current playing teams.
Oh, so Titans, Tigers, and it's got to be 8. I'm gonna say Bunnies. If you're counting it when we join back.
Yeah, I'm counting when you join back. You're wrong.
Oh, fuck.
Tigers.
Okay.
Tigers.
No, Joe buzzed in after us.
Did
Did
you?
I?
Okay.
Didn't you?
No, I
Alright,
don't think so.
go club.
Appreciate it. Actually, no, I'll let you go. No,
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate the honesty.
I'm gonna say Newcastle.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Titans.
Yeah.
I'll say Newcastle.
It's between Warriors and Tigers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Tigers.
No.
Tigers. I'm gonna say Newcastle because they did get 3 spoons in
Yeah.
a row.
This is
What did you say?
interesting.
What did you say?
I know it. I know it. I
I
know
don't
it.
know.
I'm gonna have to tell you.
I know it. I
come
know it.
on.
I
He
know it.
went Titans and
I know it. I know it.
Newcastle,
It's too late. now.
Warriors, Titans.
no. Do you guys want me to tell you?
I-
Or do you want-
no, no,
Can
no,
I have
no.
a guess? It doesn't count.
You can have one more guess.
Okay. So is it
You guys have said 2 of the 3. There's
Titans,
one missing.
Tigers,
I know.
Eels?
It's Titan, Tigers, Cowboys.
Really?
Cowboys. And like obviously they had quite, but you got to remember they came in the late 80s.
Yeah.
So you're
Oh,
actually
They didn't really
Yeah.
do
our
anything.
memories, we're
Yeah.
younger. We don't remember.
But it was.
they
so who are the-
struggled.
Who are the 3 teams again? Titans.
Titans,
Yeah.
Tigers, Cowboys.
Really? Not. Oh, the Knights. Were
The
like
Knights,
winning
won 2
premierships.
premierships.
Yeah.
two
Yeah, with
premierships.
the-
I was
They've
only
only been
thinking
around
the
since the 90s.
I was only thinking recently because they got
Yeah.
3 spoons in a yeah, the Johns.
The Eels.
All right.
Mm.
So,
Oh, but they're-
which 3 teams? Name the top 3 teams in regards to memberships.
Joseph.
Tigers.
Joseph.
Rabbitohs, Broncos, the last one's a bit trickier. I'm gonna say Warriors.
No.
Tell me. Rabbitohs, Broncos, Eels.
No.
Tigers,
Dolphins.
Rabbitohs, Broncos.
Dolphins.
I'll give you a hint. Warriors was smart to consider that kind of.
Because they gave out memberships
Storm.
to fans, didn't they?
Correct. Storm.
They've got a whole.
They've got a whole state.
and they're just amazing.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it 2 for Flav?
2 for
Yeah,
5, 2
two.
for Arch, 1 for Joe. So
None for me.
None for you.
Yeah.
What? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
one of the questions
one of the
we didn't
questions went nil. All right. So we mentioned it earlier that 4 Queensland sides got up
Yep.
this round.
Mhm.
Can you name, since the start 1908, the start of NSWRL, how many Queensland sides have been entered?
He
So
was
this is a tough one. I would though. I know this. I didn't have to research this, but I did read about it like 2 weeks ago.
6.
No,
Tigers.
Can we have a higher
it's
alert?
up. It's more than 6.
Tigers.
Yeah,
That's huge information.
Oh, I think I know why.
8.
correct.
Thanks.
Correct.
Guess, bro.
So there's actually been 3
Oh,
Gold
ball
Coast
knowledge.
sides. Gold Coast have entered.
Can't name 3 hookers though, but ball knowledge.
Gold Coast has entered 3 times.
Yep.
There was a South Queensland side just before the Super League, and then we've got Broncos, North Queensland,
They
Dolphins.
were just called South Queensland, weren't they?
Yeah, South Queensland Crushers or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Or is it the Gold? Anyway, there was a South Queensland team for a few years. The Titans have been 3 times, not the Titans. There's been
Gold
3
Coast.
Gold Coast sides.
Yeah.
And then Dolphins, Broncos, North Queensland. Anyway, Seb 6 again. Flavio takes it out this week. 3 correct answers.
Recovery from last week's monstrosity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
But there's
done.
no time pressure. I get to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was that. We can
And
move
then-
on to the tips.
Yeah.
For round 11, and we'll rush through them because it's been a pretty long TikTok.
I've got last
TikTok,
week's.
pretty long podcast.
Oh yeah, do we want to?
Last week's tally, we have Flavio and Archer both on 5.
Out of 8.
Then we have Seb
Done this,
on
uh,
4.
We okay, you know, first to last.
And Joe has a miniature 2.
Miniature.
A miniature.
Just to emphasize.
A
your
measly 2 out of 8.
measly.
Shocking.
Shocking, yeah.
He's been locked in the canal.
So
He's
so
been
yeah,
thrown
I'm pretty sure I'll
away.
be joint tips with them as well.
He'll be thrown away
Yeah.
with the key. You know?
but yeah, that was last week. Next week, we move on to the first game of Thursday.
Oh, it's a biggie.
It's a big game at Amy Park. Storm versus Broncos.
Oh,
Are we tipping, boys?
I don't know.
I'll go first. Brisbane.
Storm.
Oh no!
Brisbane.
I'm not gonna go Storm.
Can I
I'm
just
gonna
say
go
Brisbane?
Broncos.
So
we
Joe pod
but
play.
Storm are cops.
So Joe, back-to-back weeks of backing Storm.
They have to win.
against the top 2 teams in the comp.
Joe meta tips. He just goes like, who's deserving
Yeah.
to win?
He's due one.
Who's due one?
He's due for a win.
Now the first game of Friday, Bulldogs Warriors.
Ooh.
No, this is easy. Warriors.
No, I don't think so. I'm
Warriors.
gonna go Warriors, but I wouldn't be surprised if
I
Bulldogs
think it's gonna be
win.
pretty close as well.
I'm gonna go Warriors.
I've tipped the Bulldogs 3
Warriors
weeks
have
in
been
a row.
playing
Can
well.
I just say, sorry?
Warriors a good team. They've been playing
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Can I just say they've lost 3 in a row?
Yeah, but who the play?
Doesn't matter. They've
Roosters.
lost 3 in a row.
Roosters, Panthers, and they lost to another good team. I think they played the Broncos, or Sharks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I keep tipping the Bulldogs and they keep failing me.
I mean,
But I think Jacob Kiraz
I
comes
gotta-
back. He should be a bit stronger. Addo Carr, he's not going to be back next
He said
week.
he was trying.
He
trying
might
for it.
be. I think that they need a win. I'm going to go Bulldogs.
They're due one.
They're due a win.
That got me 2 last week.
so
I'm
who
gonna
are
go
you-
Warriors.
You Warriors, and who are you going?
Warriors.
So 3 Warriors
I do
and
want it to
1
the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
though.
I'm
A
going
little-
a little
pod play. Pod play.
Main event of Friday at Bluebet Stadium.
A blue bet.
Bluebet Stadium.
Is that Shark Park?
Not Red Bet. No.
Nah.
Not Yellow Bet.
What's
it's Bluebet
Bluebet?
Stadium. Penrith.
They call it Blue. Okay, whatever.
Hey, whatever. Yeah. Penrith versus Roosters, and I reckon we all say this at once.
Well, wait.
3.
We should be tipping the Roosters, right?
No.
It's been predicted. Tune in
Well,
on Wednesday.
Yeah, tune in Wednesday.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, it's going to be a very high scoring game.
Nah.
Expect Tedesco to do a chip and chase on the first tackle.
I'm
Well,
tipping the Panthers.
I think we should all be tipping the Panthers.
I'm tipping
Almost.
Roosters.
Is that considered a pod play or is that?
You know,
Yes.
Alright, boys. I'm gonna lock them in the canal. I'm picking the Panthers. You are done for.
That's 2 pod plays for Joe already.
2
fine.
pod plays. They went 2 from 8 last.
I think Joe needs to come up with a play here. After going 2 from 8, I think he needs to come up
I
with
went
a
7 or 8 the week before. It doesn't matter.
Oh, fair enough.
I
Yeah.
went like 3.
Alright, now the final game. Is this the final game of Saturday? No,
Yeah.
sorry, the first at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Saturday.
That's
Yeah,
every
it's
week.
standard.
Wait, no, I'm saying like the Tigers are playing at 3 p.m. on Saturday.
We're normally like.
When do we always get the Sunday
That's not a
game.
prime
we
time
actually
slot,
do always
though.
get a
We
Sunday.
never
That's
get 3
that's
o'clock.
That's
yeah.
the worst.
We
time
get
of
we
Saturday
get
time
we
slot.
always get bad times.
Sunday,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Same
you
with
know
6
me.
o'clock
it's
Sunday,
lost when you
3
get
o'clock
Sunday.
Saturday.
When you get the last game of the round on a Sunday, then you know
Yeah.
teams.
Anyways,
that is the
Tigers Rabbits, the second place Rabbits coming off 5 wins in a row versus the 17th place Tigers coming off back-to-back wins. The rejuvenated Tigers, but I'm gonna tip the Rabbitohs here.
We're hoping to go.
I
to
want to
the
tip the
game.
Tigers so bad, but there's stakes on the line here.
Yeah,
We're-
it's an
we're-
L.
I'm going bunnies.
We're going to the game, and
You're tipping
I
Rabbitohs?
think I want to do my score prediction as
So
well.
you're tipping? Okay, here we go.
Rabbitohs 64-12.
Okay.
I think the tackle.
Can we
actually
name the price and we'll put a bet that doesn't happen?
I'm not putting. You should.
There has to be
put-
some type of forfeit whenever teams play each other.
Yeah, you can't just make a brazy take.
Oh,
every
they're gonna
time.
win 64-12
Hey,
and
losing team has to wear the other's merchandise. That's easy.
Well,
Losing
no,
team
whoa,
from the
whoa,
from,
whoa,
from
whoa,
the
whoa.
week, just in general, losing team.
No. Out of us,
Out of
you.
you two.
If next podcast, if the Tigers win, you put on my Tigers blazer and a Tigers jersey, and if you win, Flav and I will dress up in bunnies gear.
Well,
I'm not
okay,
sure how I
so
feel about
we'll
that.
go order the
Because
bunnies
I'm pretty-
we'll get from the house. So
I'm not sure how I feel about that because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a Rabbitohs win.
It's locked in. Bunnies.
Alright,
bunnies.
bunnies.
No pod plays.
5 p.m. Cowboys versus the Dragons.
Oh,
The
that's such a
dud.
tough one.
It's gonna be a dud game, but it should be a close game. But two, teams that
The Dragons are due.
Oh no!
I'm gonna tip the Cowboys. I'm gonna
Mate,
go
you
for it.
you can't not tip the Dragons with how much you gassed
No,
them
but I
up.
was watching Ruben Cotter today, and he's got a dog inside of him. I might pick the Cowboys here.
I'm picking the
gonna
Cowboys.
lie.
I'm
I'm
picking
picking the
Cowboys, yeah.
Cowboys. Pod play, no.
Against who?
Dragons.
What do you mean? I'm taking the Cowboys.
No.
No, but if Dragons win again, it's not like a major upset.
Oh,
They have
It
lost
is.
5.
The Dragons.
They
They're the
just
worst
lost
team
to
in
the
the comp.
They just lost to the Tigers.
Have they lost?
So
5
did the
in a row?
Panthers. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
They've lost
Yeah,
5.
in a row.
They've lost 5 in a row.
The Dragons suck.
Oh, they actually do.
No, Archer thinks they're good.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I think they had a good squad on paper.
I think that's the opposite. I think they have an awful squad.
They have
on
an
paper.
awful. Anyway, we do this every week, and Archer should have to tip them right now.
I'm not tipping it.
Yeah, I think yeah.
No,
lock it in. Arch
after watching Ruben Cotter
Right.
today, I'm picking the Cowboys.
Are you just saying Ruben Cotter because it's the one player you can remember from the Cowboys?
Yes.
No.
Name 3 Cowboys players.
Jason Tamalolo, Jeremy Nana, and Cotter, and also Townsend, and also Drinkwater, and also Val.
I
Holmes.
said 3. I said 3.
Yeah.
He couldn't name three.
So,
hookers, so.
Yeah,
But I said-
I'm just
I said-
proving, but
well,
I
no,
actually
that's-
know.
well, I
who
said name 3 and you named
Mm.
more, so you got it wrong. So anyway,
Average ball knowledge.
let's move on to
And
Raiders versus Eagles, the main event of Saturday. This is a
Eagles.
tough game. Raiders
I have
coming
to tip
on.
the Eagles every week. 'cause
Raiders,
I'm so
the
invested.
Raiders looking for their 5th consecutive win after this game.
It ends
and-
here.
Eagles, who just lost to the Titans.
The end is near.
You tipping Eagles?
Yes,
No, I'll go last. I'll go last.
he's gonna pod it.
Archer?
You're gonna pod play.
I'm picking the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going last.
Boys, Flavio.
This is a very.
I picked against the Eels this most recent game at work, and I rate the Raiders a lot, I'm
Go on, Flav.
I'm gonna pick the Raiders.
I'm gonna pick the Eagles. Oh, it's at GIO. I'm still sticking with Eagles.
Eagles. Eagles.
So I've made the pod
We got
play.
2 Eagles.
3 Eagles.
Oh, no, 3 Eagles. All right. Last 2 games.
Actually, you know what? I'll stick strong. I'll go rate it. No.
Yeah,
No, you can change it, you can
yeah.
change
They're due for a loss though.
They are due.
So who's
No,
sticking?
no, I'll
Eagles.
go Eagles. I'll go Eagles.
All right, 3 Eagles, 1 Raiders.
That's the first time I've ever tipped against the
Let's
Raiders.
move on to another,
I've never tipped against the Bunnies.
in my opinion, dusty game. Apologies, Knights and Titans fans, but
Yikes! I'm going Knights.
this is a bit of a yikes.
Knights.
Titans.
Really? They just
I
lost.
can't.
Rate the Titans. So right,
I tip against the Titans.
Strong
every week.
forward pack with an electric back
outside
line.
backs.
I'm going with the Titans.
But
Um,
I think Lachlan Miller.
And Caleb Ponga is overrated. He's
No,
not even in the
Knights.
top 10 fullbacks.
still the only
not
team
top
to
10.
lose off the bye is Panthers. I'm pretty sure. So I'm
Yeah,
going Knights.
I'm going Knights as well. Who's going Titans?
Me.
Him.
Oh,
I'm gonna
there
go
you go.
Titans.
Alright, well, that's a...
What? That's a what?
You got to stop calling every single tip a canal
A
jump.
canal. It's one tip, and it's
I-
not
I-
even a brazy
I was
tip.
about to say it, but then I realised that you didn't get like 2 out of that.
Yeah.
So.
Final game of the round: Manly versus Sharks. Sharks. They're gonna bounce back.
Sharks.
They're gonna bounce back, and Manly haven't impressed me this season.
But Manly
Everyone's due. Everyone's due, but
No, go Sharks.
Archer. Pod.
There's no way in my life I would pick Manly against the top 8 sides. I'm picking
They beat
Sharks.
Storm earlier in the season.
I'm picking Sharks. I said before they're the most fraudulent team against top teams, so the Sharks will win by about 40.
okay, there we go.
Ronaldo Mulatau is gonna.
Who are you going, Seb?
Sharks.
Okay.
So we're all Sharks here. All right.
I'm so biased by my super coach though.
Who's
I
got the
will
bye?
put that
And
out
the
there.
bye is the Dolphins.
Oh, that's good.
So,
little
Congrats,
vacation.
they've earned it.
Yeah, congrats. They earned the 2 points.
Maybe they can go to Bali.
Okay. Well,
Hot takes?
hot takes.
Is that a conjoiner to yours?
Yeah.
Hot takes? No.
I'll go.
Arch go first.
I'll
I'm
go
gonna
first.
go first.
You know, it's really it's taken it out of me to say this, but I think
I've no idea what's about.
Yeah,
to
no,
come.
Me neither.
it's not about the bunnies as well.
First time.
I think the Sydney Roosters
Okay.
have a better chance of winning a premiership in the next 3 years if they put Joey Manu at fullback, and I think he'll win a Daly M within the next 3 years if he goes to fullback.
So, you think
It's kind of like,
in the next 3 years, if Manu
But
plays
where?
fullback,
So Tedesco goes
Where
into the
Tedesco
centres.
yeah, you play.
He goes to China.
You pay,
you
pay Tedesco $1 million to not play.
Okay. So
He's only.
No,
I
no,
can
but-
understand where Archer's coming from, but
Aside
because
from
he's
the
saying.
money,
So you're saying
no. Let's disregard contracts and money, right? I know it is a factor, but I'm saying if you disregard that, if I'm the Roosters, I think Joey Manu at fullback is better right now and for the next coming seasons than Tedesco will be.
I
in my
disagree with
opinion.
that. I think that putting Manu at fullback will be more beneficial for Joseph Manu, but it won't be as beneficial for the Roosters
Well,
as a whole. And the Roosters as a whole, and where do you put Tedesco? You can put Manu at centre 5'8", you can't really put Tedesco anywhere else. You could make him work at 5'8", but not really.
Yeah.
And you've got Sam Walker and Kiri, and like, why would you even want to do
Sam Walker, and I think you put Sam Walker back into the side.
Seb, what do you think?
I think if you, yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No,
Tedesco one bad year. He's still the Blues
So
captain.
on the scale
He's still
of on
Australia
how
captain.
hot, do you reckon that's like a volcanic level hot?
It's
take?
just no. It's a dumb take.
It's not even hot.
no,
it's just
No, it's like it's not even hot. It's just like, it's just Joey Manu is a great player, but there's no reason that he should take Tedesco's spot when he's just as good
I think
playing 5'8" or even in centre.
I think his career's
think he's-
been wasted not playing at fullback. in my
Probably,
opinion.
yes.
I think he could have been.
No one's- but you're
he could have been a top 5 fullback of all time if he was.
Okay, well, no,
If he played that
that's,
position.
that's a
What?
massive
That's-
hypothetical.
Wow.
Like, realistically,
Yeah.
if he played fullback right now, he definitely would be a top 5 fullback in the league. I think we can all agree on that.
Yes.
But he's
Maybe
not playing
top-
fullback, and you've got a fullback that's just as good.
No, well, I just think Tedesco's. I think he's finished. He's on the downhill. Like I think he'll play well for Blues. I think he'll have some
4
decent
weeks
games.
change a lot.
Right?
He was the best
Taking
fullback
it
in the
fair.
comp 4 weeks ago.
now the Roosters are playing bad. You can't pin it all on Tedesco.
They've
Who
been
is the
playing
best
ba-
fullback in the comp other than Latrell?
When?
Right now.
Right now.
Now, well,
No,
probably
5
Walsh.
years ago.
Probably no.
Walsh.
Not Walsh.
What has happened in 4 weeks?
But
What has happened?
I love how
It
he's
was
got
Tedesco
No,
and
but I
Hammer.
love how
No, wait.
I love how
I've
we've-
got it,
sorry,
I've got
sorry.
it, I've got it.
No.
No. It's Latrell. Then it's Will Kennedy. Then it's Dylan Edwards. Then it's
Are you just I
Then
don't
it's
understand what goes to that little head of yours.
then it's Walsh, and then it's not Hammer.
We have a few weeks ago. We have footage on YouTube of a few weeks ago of you slandering Reece Walsh for being a bad player because of the potential that he might.
Well, a week
dance.
earlier, he also said that Latrell was done.
And he should be benched.
A week earlier, and a few weeks ago, he said
So
Reece
get Taff
Walsh.
out
He
of
said
the
Reece Walsh is a bad fullback because he might dance after scoring.
Well, you know
So
what?
now you've changed your
He's
opinion.
matured. He's matured.
What's it called? I've been.
He matured for
He's impressed me with some of his recent performances, not against
But
somebody.
what
Walsh
he
has
does-
had literally, aside from this week currently, he's had his 2 worst
Yeah.
performances back to back.
No,
Archer just doesn't
this
watch the
season.
Broncos.
No.
I do. Watch the Broncos.
Yeah.
He leads.
He was like the out and out most impressive fullback at that point in time when you said he was bad. Since then, he's regressed and dropped down to a maybe top 4.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I think-
now he's impressing you.
Well, last week and the week.
Anyway,
before
this is just
was
like
wins.
beating a kid when he's already dead. Like,
This last week.
we're just like prompting him to say more dumb shit.
Not last week and the
The
week
TikToks.
before was slow weeks. Like you have bad weeks and you have good weeks. But I watched and looked at the stats in the first couple rounds, and I realised I was quite.
Okay, so
foolish
you're just going to
with
admit you were wrong the first time. Because somewhere along the line, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll,
okay.
I'll
Okay.
admit that. And
Flavio, what's your hot
Yeah.
take?
Yeah, I was about to say. This is. I told you boys before. This is very.
He's
hot.
been talking about this for days.
And now this.
Wait, I don't remember what it is.
don't make me get up and
Okay.
leave the set.
I think no, you'll like it.
Okay.
I think Cody Walker this year has been a better player than Nicho Hines. And I'm not sure how hot that might be.
Okay, we've
Oh,
got to
in
consider
your-
Nicho
I'm not sure
Hines.
how you guys are.
That's
gonna
such a
respond to
fire.
that.
Can we say Nicho Hines didn't play the first 4 weeks?
I'm
Important
saying
to
sorry.
note?
I'm saying for what Nicho Hines.
So when we
has played,
compare statistics alone, Nicho Hines is 4 weeks behind. But he's
considering that, I still
and
think Cody Walker
I'm
has
just
been a
laying
better
out
player
all
this
of the context for
Yeah.
that take because I don't think it's wrong. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Nicho Hines missed a month. The Sharks surrounding what's been around Nicho Hines has been nowhere near as impressive.
yeah,
as
well,
the
they're
Bunnies.
1-3 in that month.
Fair
No,
enough.
Yeah.
The Sharks 1-3 without Hines,
Yeah.
and now they're premiership contenders not Hines.
So
I just think.
I just want to. I'm just
Yeah,
laying the
yeah.
context. However, it's then if you put all of that aside, then it's kind of like a 50-50 call.
I think.
I'm
I
gonna
think
take-
overall the season, yes.
When I watch
if you
I
put-
watch Cody Walker play versus when I watch Nicho Hines play this year, watching both.
How
of
much
them
do you watch
play,
Nicho Hines play? Because man,
No, he's that's
Half-
his Sharks is his second
Yeah.
team. Sharks is his second team. I can confirm.
That's not necessarily true, but
Well, what?
Manly's his second.
Manly's
Oh, I
my
thought you
second
said you
team.
watch Sharks a lot.
Manly. I
Yeah,
do
'cause
watch. Yeah, I
obviously-
do watch Sharks.
yeah.
a
I
lot,
think
yeah.
I think this round, Nicho Hines was disappointing, and that's because he wasn't playing both sides of the ruck.
playing single-sided.
He was playing single sided, which I know a lot of like halves.
Anyways,
will
the
do
point I was
that.
trying to
but-
make is just at face value. I just think that I know Rabbitohs are in a stronger side, have looked a stronger side than the Sharks, and as you just said, what's around him, I just think that the footy I'm seeing Cody Walker play individually has been better.
Yeah,
Than the
I just
footy
I
I'm
just
seeing
worry about the statement all season because it's really recency bias.
so
I-
far.
Cody Walker's looked great the past
No.
month, but he started pretty slow.
No, he did not.
He did.
I
He did.
can tell you what. For the first games, when we were losing games, he was still playing magnificent. I'll lay out the stats right now. It is looking like his 2021 season right now. Similar stats when he had 33 try assists and like 15 tries, right? He's got 12 try assists, 14 line break assists, and 7 tries.
It's
for-
it's
for
very
a 5'8".
great numbers.
Yeah.
And I said before, name someone in the halves that's doing that. this
Well, you
season.
can't, but I
You
guess
can't.
the two, as you just said, the two things that Hines.
What are Hines' tries stats? I know he's nowhere near that on
Yeah,
tries.
but
He
also-
scored
two or
one. He
three.
scored one try, and you think he's got 7 assists or 8 assists. I just
He
checked.
scored more
earlier
than one
today.
try.
I'm pretty sure he scored one try. this
Wow.
year.
Anyway,
I'm pretty sure.
I'm
it's-
much.
Yeah.
I
You
think
can
Nicho
check now.
Hines is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, he's such
So,
a
so
fun
is
player
Cody
to
Walker.
watch.
So, like, don't
Yeah,
get-
no,
Especially
absolutely.
because Hines, for me, is just when you're watching a player in a like Sharks are a great side, but like if you compare it to the Cody Walker, Rabbitohs are thriving. They're scoring 30 points every game. With Nicho Hines, it's more you just see him lift the team as well.
Yeah.
Because Sharks are a good team.
I would say
but
the
they're
same thing
not-
about Walker.
If you take Nicho Hines out of Sharks suffer more than if you take Cody Walker out of. That's what I was saying.
100%.
That's another take I'm gonna say.
That's
Cody
just true.
Walker,
Yeah.
taking
We
Cody
know
Walker,
that we're going to see this.
taking Cody Walker out of Rabbitohs isn't as detrimental to taking
It's
Hines.
still very detrimental.
Yeah, we're not
taking
saying
Hines out of Sharks
Is 1 and 3.
is
We've
kind
seen
of
it.
is kind of like taking Trebojevic out of Manly. It's that similar,
Very similar.
Yeah.
very similar
Oh, yeah,
where
the
where
Manly
the
finished
Sharks,
14th
where
instead of
both
12th.
teams, where
Yeah.
Sharks would be like, who do we look to? As we saw in the first few weeks, Sharks were a different team without Nicho Hines. It's who do we look to? Who's our leader? Who's our X factor type thing?
Well, they're definitely the two best halves in the comp this season, in my opinion. So
I think
Both
that's, I think
Yeah,
brilliant
but I
players.
think this is because we're talking about fun and exciting, but Cleary just does.
Cleary just
his
game management,
thing.
yeah. Cleary
He just
game
does
management,
his
yeah.
thing.
And also, you have to consider
And
the
non-stop.
past 2 weeks of Luke Brooks are just. I'm kidding.
Anyway,
But anyway.
it's 1A
Joey's,
and 1B.
Joey, your hot
Joey's hot take. Yeah.
Okay. Jack White starting with Souths obviously leaves a big gap in the salary cap. There's 2 players that I want to use that money on. Not exclusively, not both. Either Schuster, which is the controversial one, or Sam Walker, which is less controversial, is a great player. But both out of favour a little bit. Schuster's been playing awful. $800,000 salary.
Jesus.
Wow.
He's on a big contract
With Manly right now.
with Manly right now.
The thing is, the problem is with Schuster. I want to. Sorry, what was your hot take?
That was
That's-
it.
that's
That-
who you
tho-
want.
those,
He
that's
was
who I
just-
want
he
to
was
Oh,
replace.
that's
just
sorry.
finished.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Thing is with Schuster, he's a great second row, but he wants to play 5'8". That's my opinion on
But
Schuster.
I don't like. He played.
You
mainly-
just made a face there. What's?
He is a 5'8".
He is a 5'8".
I think he's a better forward.
But that's a bit unfair because he's had a handful of games in the last 2 years at 5'8", and this is the first proper season. First of all, he has played pretty terribly. But you look at him,
He's
you
only
watch him.
played 3 games.
Yeah,
I
3 games.
prefer him.
But,
I think he's a better forward than 5'8".
He could be, and then people keep saying that because he played so magnificent. I can't pronounce it. Magnificently
Yeah, there we go.
at
We
at
got
second
that.
row
Yeah.
when he played that in his rookie year. But he came up playing 5'8". There is no reason that he shouldn't be able to play 5'8".
Fair
He,
enough. Yeah.
And age-wise, they match the Raiders' timeline. We've got a lot of young players that'll be Origin potential in like the
I
next
would
3-4 years.
prefer Sam Walker just
Oh, I
because
would
the,
prefer Sam
the
Walker.
reliability.
That's the point I'm trying to
I
make.
think-
Sam Walker isn't as versatile, but I think Sam Walker.
The question is,
better
will
player.
the Roosters let him go? Like, because
No.
this is what we're.
He's already that one was unlikely as well. He's already come out and said he wants to play for the Roosters. He wants.
Yeah, no,
to
but the difference is this teaching him a lesson, saying he's a young kid, he's come in, rookie of the year.
Yes.
So is this just giving a few weeks off and saying, look, you're not secure, or is this, hey, I think Joey Manu is who we want to go in the halves on.
I think it's the first thing.
we're still
I think
a few
that,
weeks away of
I
really
think that
knowing
the
the answer to
Roosters
that.
trust Sam Walker as a long-term option because
Yeah.
if you got to look, you got to start from the base. How old's Tedesco? He doesn't have many
30,
years
I think
left.
30.
He's had
5 years left.
He's had 9 career concussions. So another few, he might have
Yep.
to. He might not make it to 34. He might
His
make
legs
it to
were
30.
very wonky at the Tigers.
And,
somehow that fixed up. But
You know,
he could
or he
come
tore
back.
his ACL at the
Twice.
Tigers. Yeah, twice. Oh, that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
One more
The other
big
one gets
injury
it.
and it's looking grim for him.
Oh, his second one annoyed me.
Oh,
Toward against the Raiders.
Yes.
Sorry,
Anyway,
relevant.
Um,
yeah.
Kiri old as well. Like
Oh,
so
Kiri
I-
old as well, so I think that it would be very idiotic.
How
and-
old's Manu?
It would be 20s, late 20s.
Not,
late 20s?
not, he's
27,
got years in him.
27, 28.
It'd just be-
in
it'd
his
just be-
prime.
it'd just be
He
dumb.
should be in his prime years.
And they're losing Suwali as well, which is just like another
Rugby
player.
Australia.
They're just losing
Yeah.
extra cap space. I think it'd be stupid to let
Um,
Sam Walker go. Therefore, with what you just said, do you think they're teaching him a lesson, or do you think?
Well, then
they're
yes,
just showing?
that's the answer.
I
There
think-
are because there's no in between.
I think, and I don't know because I'm not the freaking Roosters. I'm not Trent Robinson, but I think the Roosters are gonna hold on to him. For,
Oh, no, I
for
agree,
Years
I
to
agree.
come.
I
Because he's a
agree.
good player, and I like him.
I think it was a long shot for the Raiders to sign. I think Schuster's a bit more realistic because of the money that he's on, and
Yeah.
Manly, like, he's a bit injury prone.
Do you
He
think the
hasn't-
Tigers will snap him up now that we've grabbed Manly's scouts?
Well, the Tigers have
He's come out and said, I don't remember his name, but he's come out and said if it's
Fulton.
going to be the best for the
Fulton.
Tigers, yeah,
Scott Fulton.
if it's going to be in the best interest for the Tigers, I will happily poach.
Oh, see, that's the
Use
thing.
my relationship.
Schuster's only a good sign if you get Manly to pay half his salary. Or play a partial part
Which
of his salary.
clearly it seems like they would have.
I think
To
yeah,
offload
I would
that,
love to
they-
see
he's a-
Schuster come, but if he's on like a
Talking about
ludicrous
fitness
contract,
is why he's not in the side.
Yeah.
That sounds like an excuse to me.
Yeah.
I think you should aim bigger.
Why?
Who else?
Like, the other one's off contract. Ben Hunt, I think he's off
Ben
contract.
Hunt would be a good sign.
No, but he's not because he's so old.
He's
We need
not.
someone to match our timeline. And our timeline
The
is
Raiders aren't
Corey
going for a
Horsburgh,
premiership this year.
Hudson Young.
Fair enough.
Did
Like, we're
Munster
young.
just
Xavier
recently
Xavier
resign?
Savage.
Did Munster resign recently?
Yeah, he resigned
Yeah.
last year.
Or
How many
Dylan Brown.
years?
Dylan Brown.
4
Dylan
years.
Brown
It was
resigned?
the whole
Dylan
Dolphins
Brown's
thing.
re-signed.
Okay. Anyways,
I was
Marnie-
going to say
Marnie's the
him
other
if
one,
you
actually.
had
Anyways,
like 2 years left
yeah.
in his contract.
look, I think that either of those signings would be good for Raiders, but again, with Schuster, it depends.
With
on
varying
how much
levels
he's
of
on.
realism.
I can see it signing Schuster.
I
But,
think Schuster would take you further, in my opinion.
Well,
Well, Sam Walker.
There you
No.
go.
Wow.
I think.
He was just saying he shouldn't have been dropped.
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
that's
Let's just move on to Seb's hot
but
take.
Schuster's just better, in my opinion.
That's his opinion. That's his opinion.
He'll be a better player, in my
Oh,
opinion.
My hot take is currently I'm seeing a lot of talk in the NRL about expansion, obviously coming out of the Dolphins. But I think this obsession with expansion is going to kill the game.
If they do it incorrectly, yes.
If they do it incorrectly,
And,
if
my,
they do,
and
if they
I've
do it
been mulling
incorrectly-
over, because I'm trying to say a hot take. My hot take is this is the only way to expand. I see massive problems anywhere. Go to Melbourne, you're splitting, you're either letting it
We spoke about this last night as well. Yeah.
briefly, very
Yeah.
briefly. You either go to the Pacific Islands, which Flavio and I both agreed
I think it's
have
the best option.
maybe the best, but they
Both-
the
they have issues.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
The infrastructure in
They
the
already have a
facilities.
stadium. They have a stadium there.
Okay,
in
I'm not
Papua
talking about stadiums. I'm talking about juniors because
They've got a junior team as
like,
well.
they have a very low level junior
But
base.
you have to think Polynesian players would
Oh,
gravitate
they might.
towards that.
Sure, yes, that's what they're relying on. They're relying on current NRL Polynesian players wanting to play, and so you're saying it combines Fiji, Samoa, Tonga into this Polynesian side. The problem is the NRL and the rugby league in general relies on a junior-based model where there's catchment areas for
Yeah.
each side. We're gonna have to give the Pacific Islands captures in Australia. We can't rely exclusively on their junior base because it's just not up to standard.
But
The money
the
putting-
NRL can put the money there.
Maybe.
they fund
It's
half
risky.
the NRL teams in the league.
It's risky.
But you know there's going to be a fan base there. Quite frankly, there is.
Yeah, of course. And I
it's gonna
think
be a
there will
It
be
would be sold out
Australians.
every week.
It's very
Yes,
risky.
First generation Australians who have moved here will want it, but it's risky. I think, and so I just wanted to go through the other alternatives. The other alternatives are
Melbourne.
giving them a second team, which I think ends in two ways.
Detrimental
You
to Storm.
either split the Melbourne fan base into two, halving the value, or it becomes a runt. And basically, what the fear with the Dolphins, which seems like it hasn't occurred, but Brisbane is so established and it's happened to Gold Coast. Brisbane is established, and the entire state goes for Brisbane. So hypothetically, the entire state already supports Melbourne. No one is willing to change
I think
and support a second Melbourne team. So either it does split it, and it's already a small fan base, cuts in half, or it just dies. Doesn't
And
maintain
also,
a fan base.
another New Zealand team would be detrimental because
Unless you
the
did
Warriors-
North and South
North
Island.
Islands, yeah.
for me, another New Zealand team wouldn't be the way to go because it's not like the Warriors are, like
Or you could do
premiership winning-
Auckland and New Zealand.
Yeah.
I've got
Auckland or call it Wellington
Yeah,
if you want,
whatever.
and just have two whatever. But I just think that they should focus on let's make the Warriors competitive
Yeah.
first. They've made one grand final. Another New
That's more
Zealand
than
team.
Titans.
Another New Zealand team would.
Haven't they made two? Didn't they
They've
make one in
made
like
one.
02 or something?
No,
to-
they've. I think.
I
they've-
thought they might.
What's
have
it-
against
Maybe they've
Melbourne.
made a second.
they're more
I
competitive
don't-
than the Titans, in my opinion.
Yeah,
They're-
probably.
they're-
Sure.
But no one's talking about adding another Queensland
I
team.
think
Yeah, we just added a Queensland team.
Yeah, making another New Zealand team would be a huge mistake. I think another one I think that could be a decent idea is Perth, and I will explain why there is some flaws to it. It's adding another 4, 5, 6 hour flight for some teams in the schedule, but I don't think it'd be an
Perth
awful
plays
idea.
AFL.
Yeah.
What junior base do they have over there for the league?
Oh, they'll have some.
They'll have some, of course. There's going to be some everywhere. Even if you kind of convert rugby, you try and hostile takeover a bunch of
It looks
rugby.
like they're trying to. They might make a move there, in my opinion, because why they're moving Origin there?
That's not expand. That's about something different. That's running net fans all around Australia.
No,
rather than
Perth
two
is
states.
Perth is probably highest on their list, other
yeah.
than Melbourne.
For me, I think if the NRL are to expand and add an 18th team, I think that it's hard to find a new location. Like Perth has its flaws.
But they can't go
New
another
Zealand.
Sydney. They can't.
What I think, why?
Because there's
there's
too
so
many.
many teams.
We've already seen.
All the
I
fans
think-
are already
I
There
think-
used to be more.
I
We've already
think-
seen Sydney teams die out in the late
they
90s.
can, I think they can
they
add the
can't
North Sydney,
squeeze them
North
all.
Sydney Bears. I
Yeah,
I'll
think.
explain. I'll
North
explain.
Sydney Bears would be the only.
I think
exception
for
in my
me, I
opinion.
think if there has to be an 18th team,
it should be North Sydney.
I think the
That's
decision
just-
at the moment is,
I think what's more likely is we cut back down to 16 and kick a Sydney team.
and
I think
kick,
that
kick the
happens.
bloody Tigers because I can't watch this team every
Or-
day.
or
I was going to say
relegation
hot take.
system.
They're the most likely team to get done because their catchment zones are already being impeded on by Penrith and Parramatta.
Yeah,
We've kind of been eaten from the west.
Yeah,
We were the Western Magpies, and now there's two Western, and even then you've got South West in St George.
so now we're just
Campbelltown
Leichhardt and-
Stadium is
Yeah,
borderline Illawarra.
now we're just
What
Leichhardt and
about
Balmain and just like
Yeah.
the inner
What
west.
about a relegation system?
No.
One up, one down.
Not enough players. And
Not
enough money.
enough
Not
team.
enough
It's
comps.
not like the Premier League where
You're going to go
football is
down
very
to the New South
established.
Wales Cup or...
Yeah. I mean, it was just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
have any.
yeah.
I just think there needs to be an
Um,
18th team. There's 17,
You know what?
17 teams is unsustainable.
Yes.
But I think
You know.
it's
Why
really,
unsustainable?
really hard.
Why unsustainable?
Because all of the buys, it's just
Yeah.
it's frustrating, and
com-
also it just
Fair
simplifies things.
Also, okay, just to wrap this up,
Hmm.
rank your top three from worst to best, top three locations,
Locations?
for expansion.
So we're saying Melbourne, Perth.
Melbourne, Perth, New Zealand, Polynesia.
So the
Polynesia.
best one.
Just
Uh,
name.
or another Sydney team.
Name
I
yours,
would
just,
go Polynesia, Perth, Melbourne, New Zealand,
I'd probably go.
or even Perth, Polynesia.
I would go.
So Polynesia the best?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go Polynesia as well. Then I would go North Sydney Bears, and because I feel like they do have a solid fan. They still
They're the
have a
best
lot-
chance the Bears ever come back to the comp is if they buy out another team and
Yeah, true.
fund that comp in somewhere else.
And
Season
then
pass, there's
my
no money.
third one, I'm not gonna say
They died
Perth.
twice
I'm
already.
not gonna say Perth because of the Super Rugby team.
That's not in play.
Hmm?
That's
So
not
that
in
is
play.
so irrelevant.
It's
No.
the AFL that will take it.
No. I'm just saying it's an example. Like what happened?
Because
I think Perth is the
They got
least
taken
chance.
over,
I think Perth is
right?
the least.
Oh yeah,
chance.
Yeah, I'm
Western
just saying
Force
just
will
died
take
off,
it.
Name
yeah.
your three.
And then probably, shit, I might say like, I honestly don't know. Maybe like Northern Territory or something. I don't know. I don't know the third one. I don't.
That's the worst one. For
I don't.
They do play rugby.
Or
out
even
there,
or
rugby
even
league.
South Australia, just
no,
No,
even
no,
worse
no,
than
no,
Perth.
No.
What, but
They're
Northern
so
Territory.
AFL.
AFL.
Northern
WA.
Territory would work because what you do is you take the old country rugby league systems
Yeah.
where up until a few years ago they were actually it was quite strong. We played the city versus country.
Yeah.
You would combine Northern Territories with regional Queensland, like
Yeah.
regional and even regional New
West
South
Australia-
Wales
West Australia as well. They would-
and Western Australia, and you just make like a country team
Yeah.
because they play footy out there.
They have great players.
me,
coming
I'll
out.
just-
They're
I'll
There's
just-
good.
anyone
I'll give
decent
my three in no particular
goes to
order.
Sydney, so.
Yeah.
In my three, so the first one I think, look, North Sydney Bears, or not even just a Sydney team.
You
a
guys,
New
I would
South-
love guys do some research
a
on
New
North Sydney
South
Bears.
Wales. I think
You see a
likely-
few jerseys at the games and you think that it's money. They have no money.
Well, unless the NRL wants to give them. I
Yeah,
don't know,
to be fair,
how-
Manly have just
The entire North Sydney.
nommed it.
yeah.
That was the problem.
Or I think
Manly had the
even just
money.
like a regional New South Wales team.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
A regional New South Wales, and I don't know, like Bathurst or Byron, but I don't freaking know.
Bathurst isn't
Byron,
regional
bro.
enough. You need to go further.
I don't even know. Yeah, just like
Tamworth.
Yeah, like
Tam-
you got to go far.
Ooh, Tamworth is a.
Tamworth.
They love taking games there. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know
Yeah.
where the.
We're
rugby
all-
league-
we're all-
Yeah.
It's such a
But
complicated.
yeah, I think
issue,
a
like-
Pacifica. I think there needs to be work done there, but I would love to see a
Yeah.
Pacifica thing. Like let's say like a Fijian rugby league team. The ARL,
Papua New Guinea will be the most.
Papua New Guinea, the ARL would need to help out. Australia
Oh, yeah.
would need to help
we need to
out.
put so much money.
Put so much
But we
money.
do that.
Yeah, we
Because
do
you
that for all
can't just
clubs.
be like, all right, Papua New Guinea, bring a team over here. You know,
I hope they
Australia
do
need
do
to-
it. I hope they do it. I would love to go
Or-
one day to Papua New Guinea.
Or
once
the
Bunnies
same idea, but in New Zealand. That way, you won't have to put as much money in, but Australia puts money into. helping
Honestly, they're my
New
top two:
Zealand.
a North and South Island New Zealand team.
No,
I think that's.
it's
Like
too
a
union
Wellington,
dominated,
or
but
like
everywhere
a,
else is too AFL.
a Wellington or like a
dominated, so.
Christchurch team. You know.
Anyway,
Sure. Anyways, this is a great discussion, but
Yeah.
I think that They should.
Went on for a country mile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's wrap it up. I didn't realise I would be that
Yeah.
Topical.
Good conversation.
It was a great. You know what? Props to you, Seb. It was a great uptake.
Thank you.
But yeah, but we will wrap up this week's podcast, and yeah, thanks for watching. And who wants to close this out?
I will. Bunnies by 40. Thank
It's
you.
the same close out every week, but sure. There you go.
Thank you.